Hi, I'm Jessica, and I go by Aikika Dragon in Ravelry and kind of in my gaming world. And I am here to share my little knitting journeys. So let's start with my works in progress. Let's see, what have we got here? I have my Musselburgh hat, which I was working on last week, by Isolde Teague. I'm using KFI collection in Sunbeam and Pumpkin for the yarn. And ta-da! Look how far I've come. Here's my progress keeper from when I filmed last week. And look at all that progress. Oh my gosh. So this is basically my take it out knitting, my go hang out with friends knitting. And this is my potato chip knitting, because every little line group, it's like, oh, I can just do one more. So what I'm doing is I am slowly making by 1 row per 3 setting. That doesn't make sense. So this group of 3 has 2 rounds, and this group of 3 has 3 rounds, this group of 3 has 4, and etc., etc. So I'm just gonna keep doing that until I get to the other end and see what it looks like. I figure this side will be mostly orange and the other side will be mostly yellow. And I'm keeping the orange in between. I'm doing 4 in between, and I'm doing 10 between the groupings. And so this side will look mostly orange, and I figure the other side's gonna look mostly yellow, but it's gonna be as much a surprise to me as to you. It's spring break here, so the house is loud and noisy, and there's dogs and there's kids and everybody's home. So it's chaos. So yeah, that's the progress that I've made. I am very excited. I like this yarn, even though it's tiny. I love the pattern. This is the second hat that I've done, and I'm looking forward to continuing this as we go along. My next project is the thistle blanket that I spoke about last week. That is based on the pattern Flowers of Scotland by Ruth Sorensen, and I am modifying it into a crochet pattern, and I'm modifying it into a blanket instead of a shawl. And I talked about it last week, that my struggles with it, it's too big. But this will come up a little later too. My dad and my stepmom are coming to visit this week, which I'm so excited about. I figured I did 0 progress on it. So, I mean, there's nothing different to show. I have done literally nothing on it. But I'm going to show it to them and say, look, let's be honest. Would you guys want this as big as it is, or do you want something smaller? They can look at it, they can decide if they like the colors or not. And if they don't, I may drag them to the yarn store and find some colors that they would like and just start over and do it. I figure if I do it again, if they want a smaller one, like just a little throw, which is what I was originally planning, I would just do 3 of the flower sets. And I think that would be plenty enough for a nice little lap blanket. It's twisted. So 1, 2, 3, and that would be big enough for a nice little throw blanket. So no progress on that. Let's see, that's been on my needles for 94 days, and it may be completely frogged. I don't know. We'll find out hopefully by next week. I forgot the Musselburgh hat has been on my needles for 9 days, which seems crazy. I've just really enjoyed knitting it. That's my evening time knit when I can't focus or concentrate too. That's what I do. All right, and my final whip, because I try to only have 3 on the needles, but that varies, is the Uptown Tee by Tori Yu. And this is brand new to me. Ta-da! I've cast it on and I've done 3 rows and that's it. This one is actually for, I paid for and am doing the Make Your Perfect Fit Sweater with Tanya of Nerdy Knitting. And I joined that class that she's doing because I want to make clothing that fit me, and I'm just not confident in the construction. So I figured this would help. And so that started, and everybody's cast it on and started working on it. And I was paralyzed casting this on. I think I was putting way too much pressure on myself about making a perfect sweater. Perfect. And so I was talking to some people in the group, and they said, you know, I'm just thinking of it as a practice sweater. And for some reason that helped. It got into my brain and I was able to finally cast it on because it'd just been sitting there. Everyone else was casting on and getting things done. And I was like, I can't, I don't know why. I just had no interest. I couldn't pick a pattern. I couldn't pick, I had already chosen the yarn, but like I had some other yarn for a different shirt that I was having coming in, and I was just feeling very uninterested in it. So, and it was fear. It was all fear. So as soon as somebody was like, I think of it as a practice sweater, then that seemed to help. So I cast it on. I haven't gotten very far because I only want 3 projects on my needles at a time, and I definitely don't want more than 1 shirt. So more on that. But I started it. I got over that fear. And so this has actually been on my needles for, I swear I put this on for 3 days, which, you know, that's not very much knitting for 3 days, but I got it on the needles, which was my biggest fear. So there it is. I am using the yarn, oh golly. Oh, Sussero, the colorway Paris Night. So yes, and it's cool. It's a silk merino linen blend, and I've never knitted with silk or linen. So I'm excited actually to kind of see how this drapes, honestly. So that is my works in progress. My finished object is, I finished it, my Alpine Bloom tee. This one's by Caitlin Hunter, and I can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I can see like where it's right here where I changed techniques on how I was doing the color work, and all of a sudden it stopped bunching and everything. So this hasn't been blocked yet. I literally finished it right before I started filming, and sewed on that last sleeve, Kitchener stitched it, and I love it. It fits fairly well. I would modify the collar a little bit just because it gets a little bunchy on my neck, but I love it. I finished a shirt for myself in an adult size. I'm so proud of myself, you guys. I'm so proud. I'm gonna put a couple pictures of me wearing it, and again, remember this isn't blocked. So you'll see here I have my progress keeper of where I was last time. So I made a good amount of progress. From there, I did the hem, which I thought was gonna be in the lace pattern, but then it was just in this ribbing. And then I did both sleeves. So got both of these in the beautiful lace pattern on. And I wanted to, and I was like, I'm getting this done. If I'm getting that other shirt on to work on, I'm getting this done. And one thing I did was there's a little bit of neck row shaping here in the back to make it fit a little bit better. And I was like, I'm never gonna be able to tell what's the front and the back. I don't have a tag. I'm not that fashionable to know. So I sewed a little with my tail end, a little B here for the back. So that way I would know that one goes in the back. And I just wove in my tail end with a little B so that I thought I was very clever. I'm sure lots of people have lots of different ways to do it, but that's how I did it. And I'm so happy. This was on my needles for 71 days, and I'm happy. I may even have it on next time I do this. So that is my knitting, and I'm in love. So as far as my gaming, I played some Dungeons and Dragons on Saturday. In this game, we are, well, it's like the DM's own universe, so it's not a pre-written game, although it is based on a pre-written game. But it is his own universe. He's done a lot of changes and a lot of modifications. And I am playing Okesh. She is a Dragonborn cleric. And she doesn't, you know, a lot of people think of Dragonborns, they look like dragons, but this DM didn't want that. So she looks human, and she just has some scales and some horns. She's cute. I love her. And we got into an epic battle with some orcs. And oh my goodness, I think all of us were there this Saturday. So it's a party of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a party of 5. And of the 5 of us, 3 of us went down, like knocked out, unconscious, bleeding out. And it was rough. One of them was me. I went up to go and try and get someone else up, and then went down. And then he immediately went down again. So it was nerve-wracking. We did end up somehow, I think the DM took a little pity on us, but that's okay, I'll take it. Ended up, the tides turned. We won the fight. The real star of that show was Kira, our ranger. She was just sniping people all over the place. It was pretty great. But also Leoval, our bard, I don't know if he's multi-classed or not, but was also, he was in it. He's got like the lowest armor class, and for some reason all the rolls are open rolls, so the DM can't even fudge it. Every time something tried to hit him, they missed, so it was great. So, and then I went and tried to heal our Sophie, and she has a cursed item on, which I had forgotten about, so it made it a big moment that makes it so she can't be healed at all, ever. So eventually she came around, but it was, you know, it was a funny moment, and it was crazy. Our other game that would have been yesterday was postponed because it was a holiday and a lot of people were with their families. So we did not play Dungeons and Dragons on that one. And I have a game also today. Today it is Pathfinder, Agents of Edgewatch, and in that one, I am playing Hydrangea Heatherfoot. She is an investigator, ranger, multi-class. And I don't think I'm going to be able to make it because of life stuff going on this week. So I am going to be sad to miss it, but you know, life, that's the way it is. So she's also a healer. There's a lot of funny stories. I'll get into that, I guess, another time when I actually get to play her again. So that one happens like, so my first Dungeons and Dragons game happens every other week, if we're lucky, if everybody can be there, or most people can be there. And then the second one that was postponed is every week, but you know, that waffles, especially around the holidays and when people get busy. And then Pathfinder happens 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on. And so, you know, I keep myself busy and it's fun. And there's some weeks where there's a game every day of the weekend and that can be a little rough, but I love the game. So what can you do? Let's see, what am I reading? Not much has changed there. I will say, so I am listening to Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I'm loving it. I think it's a great book. Maybe not for everyone, but it's definitely my style. I don't know what happens yet. So I can't tell you if I like the ending or not. I think I was listening to it on the way to go drop off my husband's car somewhere, and I think I had like 9 hours left of listening time, so I've got a ways to go in that book. I am also reading Court of Thorns and Roses still by Sarah J. Maas. I just, I'm choosing to do a lot of other things, and so my reading time is fairly diminished, but I'm getting close to being near the end of that. I did not realize that that was a fantasy romance book. I thought it was just fantasy, so surprise, if you didn't know, it is. So that's not usually my style, but it's fine. It's fine. And then let's see, my beach reading is Grandma Gatewood's Walk. That's right, it's warm enough here to go to the beach. We went yesterday, it was amazing. So I know I shut the door. So Grandma Gatewood's Walk by Ben Montgomery. That's what I'm reading, taking to the beach with me. So that's an interesting story. It's sad and inspiring all at the same time, but it's a true story about an older woman. I believe she was in her 60s at the time. I don't think she was in her 70s. I think she was in her 60s. I'm gonna double check. And she walks the Appalachian Trail, all of it. So I find that pretty amazing. So that's what I'm reading. As far as my life goes, it's gonna be a busy week. Like I said, my dad and my stepmom are coming to visit. So we're gonna be going to Brook Green Gardens. We're gonna go to the beach. We're gonna try and see a show. And we're going to eat lots of good food and be busy and visiting and socializing, and which I don't do. I do it with family. I try. Believe it or not, I'm actually an introvert and pretty shy, which is why I can talk to myself in this screen, and why I struggle to do it out in the wild, I guess. So yeah, I'm so excited for them to come visit. Last time I saw them was when I went out to visit them last year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's what's happening this week. My kids are on spring break, so that's gonna make the visiting easier, but it also makes it more hectic at home. And so I don't know if I'm gonna get a whole lot of knitting done this week, but that's okay because I got this done. And I have my potato chip knitting to work on. So I think that's about it for today. So thanks for joining me, and happy knitting. Bye.